Oh shit. So
Alright, then just start this back up.
You want to start over and say our names here?
No, this is just. That's it. I'm gonna start.
Well, hold on.
No, yeah, watch our shit. Alright, so we're discussing a few stuff that we wrote down, mostly stuff that we are into, and not things that are actually trending. So, for example, we were speaking about Nicki Minaj and fashion, and how does it connect the dots of pretty much gaming community.
Right.
I'd like to elaborate more on that, so I'll let you know.
All right. So, in the past couple of weeks, maybe past couple of years, is this big identification of pop culture and fashion, right? So you may not hear or see immediately a correlation of fashion and gaming, but there is a section of the gaming community that is into being fashionable, but their sense of fashion is what we would like to call cosplay. The idea of dressing up as a favorite game character, an anime character, putting time and effort into the aesthetic of that character, its style, and then embracing and going out to conventions and just, regular expression of it. Excuse me.
What's this called?
The inner lifestyle. And so I was talking about how I like to focus on certain things within gaming in terms of fashion, like these new, like what the new sneakers is, what a new, jacket, or what new look might, be out by some fashion house or some streetwear brand. And me and Sergio got to talking about just how you can get focused in on fashion and have this permeated association of different things. And that came back to gaming. We talked about Nicki Minaj, because Nicki Minaj is probably the hottest artist out there who gets it. She understands fashion, she understands brand names, she also understands kind of like the niche lifestyle, and it's like how to amp it up. Yeah. She's all right?
Yeah.
I like all 85% of her.
Which part? Good stuff or the real stuff?
Yeah, tell us, pass it to the week.
Well, yeah, what is that? I mean, what, okay, going back, stay focused, was a couple years ago, she was running around doing a lot of anime stuff, putting a lot of those blurbs that you would see in like an animated cartoon. You kind of like see it in her art, you see it in pictures. And I was wondering, in the fashion world, you see like brands really embracing that kind of cosplay lifestyle.
Cosplay is.
No.
What's cosplay?
What's the six though?
They covered up.
That's true.
So let's keep going
Everyone
because this is one on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
So again,
What's cosplay? Like,
well, cosplay. If you don't know about cosplay, cosplay is it's the art of dressing up like your favorite, character from gaming and anime. One of the biggest discussions happening right now in gaming is around Metal Gear, with the character Quiet.
There's a lot of shit required.
There's a lot of shit required. Could you speak on that, David?
So Quiet is a character in the new Metal Gear Solid game. Her whole existence is to basically be bootylicious.
Really? Pull her up?
Yeah.
With her name? Quiet?
Sure.
Like
we'll
literally
You
her
can't actually. Okay, I'll just Google it.
MGS. That's enough to show you. Like her entire existence, she only serves to do one thing, and that's to be candy for the boys.
That's funny that you Quiet.
Yeah.
And she doesn't speak.
And then yeah. But the crazy thing is, there's nothing about her outfit that's quiet. She's absolutely loud.
Quiet MSG?
So
I mean, there is a plot relevance for that shit.
yeah,
else, he bleeds through her skin. So that's why I
Oh,
said
Shit. They were,
Yeah, genius.
yeah.
I remember we had
Is there a reason she doesn't talk?
Yeah.
So, yeah, literally, pretty much. And then her animation has her like on doggy style, showing off her ass, pouting her lips, just doing this. Like the camera zooms in on her breasts. I legit do not. She legit strips. I
Oh,
think
look,
at
they got
one
the
point
girl who she
and takes a shower, and then there's a rainbow in the background. Some shit.
Like,
There's a
and the thing is that they,
And she's just.
and they go to every extreme to show off the stereotype as
Yep.
much as possible.
Yep.
It's like there's no avoiding it. And I remember early in the year there was this big Gamergate like controversy around Quiet about it. Why?
She's been in this from day one.
No, she's a weak character.
Right.
I don't really learn it. So, some pieces.
Right.
She,
It is
she's
on
based
PC.
off of
Oh, it
House.
is?
Yeah.
They won a great PC award.
Oh, they know it. Yeah, yeah.
And it was big. It was a big topic of discussion because a lot of people felt that she was being sexified,
She was.
and there was a big controversy all over, which was part of the Gamergate.
But fortunately, Kojima did warn us, and he was right. He said, "You will be ashamed of your words and deeds when you find out the reason why Quiet is naked." And the reason is actually very logical. She bleeds through her
Okay,
skin.
whoa.
That's not spoiler.
Is no spoiler? You sure? Because I
You
haven't.
gotta
I
just
haven't.
say
I haven't
spoiler.
yeah, we gotta say spoiler.
Oh,
No, it's not.
Yeah. Wait, what?
You're lying.
no, it should be all.
Oh, that's
It's right there.
No, I was just watching it.
Oh, Jessica's on. Jessica's side.
Hey, Jessica.
How are you?
God, why is she in this chat? I mean,
Hey. Don't mess with
Sign
me.
in, sign
Don't
in.
mess with me.
Answer some questions with us.
Yo, join. There's an open scat seat.
No, you're right.
She goes, no invite.
No, I told David to tell you.
Damn, no. I did invite you. Jesus.
To mine with the two invite.
I did invite you.
And so,
Join
so back to Quiet. Yeah. So, as a character, right, you've got New York City Comic Con coming up.
Yeah.
Right? And literally Metal Gear launched about a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So New York Comic Con is what hosts all of the big comic conventions in terms of San Diego, Chicago, what have you. So literally this is the first time we may see women dressed up as Quiet at a cosplay convention.
Well, you know what? I actually
At New York Comic
Well, that's the
because it's not the first cosplay. Actually, I think
What's the
it's
sexiest cosplay that you've seen?
the earlier cosplay. Actually, is not sexy, but what was hilarious was that a lot of people who were outraged about cosplay took it and spinned it, so guys were cosplaying Quiet.
Yeah.
Which was
What?
fucking hilarious. Yeah, guys were cosplaying Quiet.
That's just interesting.
It was hilarious as shit. And it was, I guess the point was to show off like the sexuality of it. Like
Right.
we don't notice it on a
There
girl,
was one.
but if a guy wears it, we notice it.
Okay, so here's
There
what
was
we're
one
gonna do.
in the pictures. It was the main character in her uniform.
If you're watching this, you may not know what we're referring to. So I'm pretty sure some of you guys may Google it or what have you, but we'll also relate the post. We'll make a relatable post on the kingslayer.com. That's right, it's an official website about gaming and lifestyle. That way you can see what we're talking about in terms of the blab, the gamer lifestyle, and you can get the content. But I want to focus part of the conversation, which is in terms of fashion and exploitation. Does Quiet fit the stereotype, or does she really do what Kojima says and makes people feel uncomfortable and be absolutely wrong about their entire perception in pantyhose, boots, short shorts, and
Not at all. Not even.
not even close?
No, she exists pretty much for one reason.
One reason?
For one reason. And that is so you can play the game with one hand. Free.
But can you even do that? Is that even feasible?
The amount of animation spent on her, I'm actually both impressed and depressed that the animators had to spend time animating Quiet, because she has quite a lot of animation.
The other thing, like, what do you say? mean, I don't know much about Metal Gear, but
Yes, yeah, I know. Yeah.
yeah, but
Let me see, I'm gonna try it. Alright. Keep going.
not much.
You got 10 viewers.
No, 10 people came by the view. We have 5 viewers right now.
Hello, 5 viewers.
Hey!
Welcome.
Three of them is on.
Okay, hello. No, wait, no.
Yo, David invited me 23 seconds ago. That's BS.
Oh, accepted.
Except for
I accept.
I can't hear them.
We're gonna give him props.
Right, there we go.
We're gonna accept Miguel. Miguel, like, you're cheating,
Yeah,
bro.
can you guys hear me?
We got.
Dang. Can you guys hear me?
Okay, so,
Hey, we got Clubhouse.
I'm the B-roll. Go ahead, I'm gonna highlight what you
He's gonna get like the behind the scenes.
Can you guys hear me now?
He's booted.
open seat, let's open it.
Joining up.
When you do that, it locks it. Yeah, now it's on.
Oh, we got our audio.
I'm coming. What audio?
No, Jessica, we can't hear you. Someone needs like a.
Oh, because this the volume's not on in my on mine.
Oh, is that? Hold on.
Oh.
How you do that?
Wow.
Mr. Mac, go up to the
God,
Bible.
come on.
Can you guys hear me now?
Oh,
Yeah, we can hear you too.
Wow. Yo, so David invited me 23 seconds ago. I never heard of any of this.
No worries.
What do you mean? I didn't hear it.
Okay, so I want to repeat the question. And since you're the lone female, right?
I can see her here. I can't see her here.
We were talking about Quiet from Metal Gear, The Phantom Pain.
Yeah, I heard of it.
Okay, so we were discussing, does she represent
Yeah,
the stereotypical female in gaming who gets exploited, or is she exactly who Kojima says she is, and just a very, the antithesis is all that, where, you know, she's all about gameplay and there's a purpose for her being scantily clad.
I haven't played the game, so I can't really judge it. That's the thing. I mean, the only thing I've seen about Quiet are like sexual positions of her. Like, you go online, you search up Quiet, you just search up her butt. Like, that's it. Like, they just show gifs of her like bending down and stuff. That's all I see when you search up Quiet. So that's what I'm getting from it. I'm not getting anything else from it. Like,
Do you play with her in the game?
Yeah, you can play with her. She's actually one of the best partners in the game.
Really?
Yeah.
And isn't there an aspect of the game where you could call her down or
Yeah.
call?
She's a sniper.
She's a sniper.
You can set her to mark enemies, and then you can set her to shoot enemies in silence.
Okay.
So like
You can send her to just like stand in menus and distract them. Because if you can't do that, then she's not that sexualized.
No, she's more.
Like I see how she's like physically sexualized. I understand
No,
that.
she is 100% sexualized. Let's look it up. Right.
If any of her attacks don't have to do with her breasts or butt or physical aspects, I don't feel like she's that sexualized.
So
Miley Cyrus is on Instagram, titties out all the time because she's a nudist.
And that's what I was going to get to.
And she said this in interviews. People have referenced her about this. She's a pretty good fucking person.
Right.
She does shit for charities and fundraisers for kids and helps
Like,
people who are homeless and stuff like that. But it's like she's naked, so she's crazy.
So, okay, so here's
I hope
the
this is the correct video.
All right, so we're showing actual gameplay.
Not spoiler.
It's not a spoiler.
Not spoilers. Unless you really like Quiet and like you just want to do a person, in which case it's probably spoiler for kids. Spoiler of Quiet Tits. Spoiler of Quiet Tits. Nanomachines. They are nanomachines. Most likely.
What? Is she a robot?
It's never be solved.
See, I'm a gamer, and my pure thought process is not. Oh,
wow.
I missed you.
wow.
Yo, isn't that just the player zooming in on her? That's not the cameraman's fault.
Come on.
Kojima.
She's breathing.
Did she die?
You know, they designed her first, then they came up with that.
Okay, so did they have to show the camera of
Yeah, they didn't have
boobs and then
Oh wait, it's not over. It's not over.
Wait, actually,
Oh.
It's not over. It's not.
Wait, but that was that pre-rendered or was that the players zooming in? What?
How can she breathe? She must be drowning right now.
Kojima! Kojima!
oh,
Look at all this.
What this guy say?
but this is like the softest
Here we go.
porn.
Yo, she's in prison.
She's not even on all fours yet. She gets on all fours.
I'm trying to open it up. And guess what I have to do? Hold on.
That's right.
Yo, you know, I'm gonna go to
That's
Pornhub right now and I'm
genius.
gonna look up quiet. I'm
The
gonna find
same
it.
video?
Yeah, they talked about this.
That's it. And then you go back. Well, we're not going to show this.
Yeah.
This is
She knows
That's the first thing that comes up when you search it.
Yeah, we're not.
Oh Lord have mercy. Okay, Kojima. It's hard to defend you right now. Like it's super hard to defend you.
And this is the same man who made. This is the same man
I'm re-rolling.
who made the greatest female of all time, the boss.
Right.
You know? Like she's possibly.
Spoilers for anybody that hasn't.
Okay, if you haven't played this game in the past 15 years, you know what? Fuck you. You deserve to be spoiled. This is an old ass. I mean, he did the same shit here.
Yeah, you did.
He's been doing this shit for a while. He's
He only made to step his game up on this
But
one.
my thing is, why the unapologetic go hard to like exploit the women visually? Like, did he have to like the premise of this game is so convoluted in terms of the series itself? Did he have to do that? Did he have to focus on that
No, no, no.
ancillary stuff?
Because he made one of the greatest female characters in game called the Boss. Who's
Right.
and she's not sexualized at all.
Right.
And she no, that's not her. That's not her.
But is she remembered?
She is. She's supposed to be one of the most remembered antagonists in Metal Gear Solid.
Right.
But like, as a villain,
No, Larry. No, you
Oh,
know.
let's see.
I feel like they centralize women a lot in games because
The
Let's be
Boss.
honest. Say what it is.
I mean, she doesn't show off.
Oh, they
anything.
know
She
it.
actually wears a
It's
top.
young pubescent boys, man.
This is what I was talking about the boss, by the way. This is the greatest shit about Metal Gear Solid 3. It's the whole boss, because the story is centered around her and Big Boss.
right.
And it's just amazing to see the relationship, because the boss is portrayed as this legendary hero who single-handedly defeated World War II, who like conquered it. And she's like this amazing godlike hero of everything. She's really why he invented CQC, she basically invented everything, and she pretty much set into motion what we do the entire Metal Gear Solid series. So in the series, she's possibly one of the most important people in the entire series. And she's never once sexualized. She's always wearing a tarp or like heavy military gear or something. You never see her other than her face.
So he knows what he's doing. It's purposeful.
He knows what he's doing. Yeah, quiet.
Okay. And I guess the over-civilization is to really make a point that I can do
No,
what the fuck I want to do.
Yeah, I guess so.
What do you think, Jessica?
I mean, I've played Metal Gear 4 and like you know, I don't know if you guys have played it, Metal Gear Solid 4, but like, you know, you had to fight all those like girls.
Right.
I don't know, did you guys play it, right? And I didn't think they were sexualized at all. Like I thought those were the most badass enemies I had ever played. So I don't know, like I never saw like a sexualization from Kojima, so I don't kind of relate like Quiet's sexualization because of Kojima, because the girls in 4 were badass. Like I was so excited to fight them. Like that's what I thought of them. Like sure they were fucked up in the head, but they were awesome to fight. Like so I never saw that in 4, but
Right.
I don't know. Like you know how the company you know how the company is kind of going downhill, right? Like, are you sure that he had full control of what was going to be in the game? You know what I mean?
In terms of Quiet, he had, because I feel like there are certain things he didn't have control of.
Right.
There's a lot of controversy where like I think Metal Gear Solid is missing a few chapters, including like the final boss.
Right.
Tell Jose to join. Send him the link.
Oh yeah, there is.
Don't worry, Jose.
No, we can do more than 4 people.
You can be more than 4 people.
So here's my thing too, right? He's created this character who had her own controversy, right? His entire year, well, 2 years of building Metal Gear, how has it been? It's been longer than 2 years, but this year has just gone for him, right? You go into battle with the company, aka the publisher and Konami, who gave you tons of power. Like you literally had your own studio production house called Film Productions, right? So now the question is, how much control did you have? How much control did you have? Obviously, for Quiet, you had a lot of control. I don't think the brass at Konami is coming down and say, could you please put some titties and ass?
I think so.
Right?
Yo, I miss you too, Elijah.
Especially in the past 2 years with Twitter and shit, companies now more than ever are trying to make sure. I feel like companies now more than ever are being especially conscious of this because they know that they don't have a network.
Right.
And they know that a lot of people are going to piss off. So to have Quiet be so scandalous as she is, that's just pure Kojima. And he's defended her and he came out and like, because if it wasn't, then if it wasn't Kojima, then he didn't have to defend her as vehemently as he did. He was really defending her.
Yeah, he was really defending her.
That's the reason why this character exists. First he said positive. Then he said, because you will be ashamed of your words and deeds. And then it turned out that some bullshit.
Right. Okay, so we don't sound like we're totally killing Kojima right now. Let's also reference the fact that he comes from a repressed society in some respects. If you think about the Japanese culture of how women are represented as well as men represented in the culture, it's not as open and free as it is in the United States. But then again, we can't say we don't see over-sexualization here in the United States as well in terms of our culture. So is he playing into what already exists and not being a hypocrite about it? I mean, like, to be up on Kojima about sexualization of a character, then what the hell are we still doing accepting Sports Illustrated characters, Maxim? You know, let's be honest. Kate Upton, Jesus Christ, Kate Upton in Game of War, like
Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey's down there, like, there's a lot of exploitation going on.
Kim Kardashian, $1 million a day.
$1 million a day, Kim Kardashian. And let's point out, famous for absolutely nothing. And I'm not hating.
Sex tape.
I'm not hating. I'm not hating. Again, exploitation.
She worked hard on that.
She worked hard on that. You know what I mean? And the question is, let's follow up question is, what is Kojima doing wrong? Did he do anything wrong with Quiet?
I think he did one. I think he did it intentionally.
Right.
I think at the end of the day, he just doesn't give a fuck. Honestly, we don't know how long this dude has known that Konami was on a ticking time bomb. We don't know how long that he's known he was going to get out. Like, there are interviews where he said years ago, if I had to drop somebody, it'd probably be Konami. So we don't know what the relationship between them was.
Right.
And I think on some semblance, like scouting all the interviews, he kind of knew that Metal Gear Solid 5, which is appropriately titled The Phantom Pain. Well, that's the same thing. Konami's last AAA game that's not software is called The Phantom Pain.
Right.
That's brilliance right there. Fucking brilliant. I think this dude knew that this was going to be his last game. So I think he pretty much like said, fuck it, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want.
Right.
And I think there was another component to it too. There's a lot of Metal Gear Solid 5 that we weren't shown.
Right.
There's a lot that's cut from it.
Exactly.
There was a ton that was removed.
Right.
You know? So
Just boys, do not give me a boner, then put a gun in my hand.
I mean, so maybe, I stress, maybe Quiet had some alternative purpose other than to really be there for tits and ass. Maybe. But as it stands in the current final shape of the game, absolutely not. He was there.
He's just there. Okay. All All right, so
Interesting.
let's then answer. Let's segue to the next question, which will segue into the next topic. We're not going to be here too long, but that would be
Your legs was going on fire. All I saw was like 70, 80, 90.
I know,
I was like, what?
Yeah.
And like, you're not getting.
I got that B-roll, I told you.
Ooh, ow.
Sorry.
so what?
Look, you see the little hands?
Yeah, y'all need a microphone, man. Y'all need like a centered microphone.
Nice. So off the bat, right? Okay, so now we've got this entire, we've got the context somewhat, right? That leaving Konami, we've got a sensationalized character.
I have an explanation.
Which for marketing purposes is genius, right? Because this is
94%.
this is
Fine.
gaming is testosterone led. It's not estrogen led, right? So obviously, like Miguel said, he's catering to a male audience. Okay. Now the question. Here's the follow-up question. If the game is out, he's gone from Konami. He's left this impressionable character who now is going to be in the hands of gamers in terms of the cosplay. The cosplay for years. Cosplay of Quiet just might last longer in terms of impression on gamers than the Phantom Pain game itself. Now, is that the type of legacy he wants to leave?
I don't think so.
So you're saying that people are going to dress up as
Mm.
Right, because it's the last. It's the
But
last.
if you didn't know, and if somebody knew, I would just think that's Laura Croft. I wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They over-sexualize Laura Croft and Tomb Raider so much, like, and you can easily mix that up, because what does Laura Croft wear? Booty shorts,
Right.
boots, and a tank top,
Right.
like this much.
Right.
I'm sorry, the new one was black.
Oh, you
Oh no.
Tomb Raider, horrible genre.
Game.
Totally different game with the same name.
I'm gonna have
Laura
to.
Croft isn't badass. She's not rich, really. She doesn't do anything cool in it. And then in the first level, she gets like punched by some guy that the real Laura Croft would have noticed and fucked up. Sorry.
Okay, listen. See, David is eating this up.
Yeah, we all get
You gave the Power Troll extra mushroom power. Look, it's the retelling of the Lara Croft Tomb Raider story. It's meant to be a trilogy.
They already doing the re-stories?
Yeah.
They, now I know I'm getting old. The second for real? They think they put the game
Yeah,
over?
it's not Tomb Raider. It's just Tomb Raider.
Yeah, this is Tomb Raider. So the second game.
Okay, join us.
Okay, wait. We're not going to go that far into Tomb Raider, but I get the correlation between Lara Croft as a character being sexualized and quiet. Jesus Christ. But we're going to get to that part. Okay? You know, we might as well segue there. It's perfect now. I've talked about quiet enough. Now, Lara Croft and that entire ecosystem of how females and female characters are treated in the game. Right? Lara Croft might be, even though she's sexualized, she may be the most popular and heroic sexualized female character. Like she's super heroic. Like, you know, books with her and Witchblade by Top Power. Like, she's been everywhere. You got her portrayed in a movie by one of the most iconic actresses of my era, and Angelina Jolie. She's also
playing the second movie.
is she gonna play the second movie?
What?
We
They would have like some black shy.
That's why you got the girl.
Yeah, they're gonna have a younger chick, but it's not really someone like that. Because when you think Angelina Jolie, you kind of think like,
That's a
yeah, she was like,
for Tomb Raider was
for Tomb Raider, she was, alright,
She
back to the ground.
back to the game. No, but this is perfect though, because again, the purpose of our entire extreme with the game of lifestyle is about how gaming and lifestyle are today intertwined, right? Angelina Jolie playing in a movie, the movie speaks to a different type of audience that is always fully focused on gaming, but there's correlation there, right? At the same time, the question begs to ask, what other female character has been as popular in gaming and has translated? Unless if she's not sexualized, then how does a female gaming character emerge?
Princess Peach.
Jesus Christ.
That's great.
We are
Zelda.
What do you think, Jessica?
Zelda. Zelda. I was gonna say, you know, the girl from Last of Us, she got pretty popular too, and she's like a little girl. She's a badass. I love her. Yeah.
Let Jessica, what you will say, Jessica?
No. Just Ellie from Last of Us. She was really popular, and she was like, you know, like everyone loved that game. That game sold like crazy, and she wasn't sexualized. Like, and she was a kid. So.
That's why she wasn't that sexualized.
Nice.
And
Well, no. Ellie is
Oh, the girl from Resident Evil. She got
Jill Valentine, but she became sexual.
All right.
But like Ellie is, and I don't like to use this word, but she kind of is an anti-trope. But I think she's an amazing character. So her anti-trope is like she exists to challenge everything that's like status quo. First of all, she's a girl.
Right.
She's a little girl. She's not like an adult. She's not sexualized. Spoilers about her.
Spoilers.
spoiler alert.
I mean, it's for the DLC. It's not.
It is.
I don't know.
But her sexuality is not absolute. Yeah.
It's working. It's really working.
Yeah. But like her sexuality is not absolute.
Right.
And throughout the course of the game, she proves to be extremely essential to Joel. So like, you know, without spoiling anything, while you're playing the game, Ellie pulls her weight. You know, the entire game thing can that Ellie's out there helping you, she'll save your ass sometimes, and you're not like this damsel in distress. Even though I will, you know, I'm just gonna put it out there. I think, you know, one of the most iconic and possibly pinnacle of cinematic gaming, and one of the deeper characters who really like helped change my perspective on life. I feel like Princess Peach was a really great.
Stop.
Two people that you said are just
Shut up, David.
the people you're fighting for. They're not even in the game.
Like, and look, and a lot of women hate the idea that they have to be damsel in distress. Like, somebody gotta help me. Like, I can't open up a jar of cookies. Or whatever. Like, Princess Peach wears a pink dress and she has blonde hair. You can't get any more stereotypical than that.
That was made by a Japanese man.
Again, they may not be the best representatives to do that. So let's go out on an extra. Let's go out on a super extra, right? How come no one said, you know what? Why not take perhaps or emulate one of the best modern day heroic women? And this is a stretch in terms of heroism, but why not a Serena Williams? Why not take someone who's a winner in real life,
Sports did it.
in an individual sport, right? Who isn't sexualized, who is dominant.
She's pretty sexual.
But tennis muscle, but she, come on.
She's pretty sexual.
But the point I'm trying to make is there are examples of emulation where you can still look like a woman, because she still looks like a woman.
Yes.
She still wears, short shorts and stuff like that. She's gorgeous in a dress.
Sexual.
Like, she's hot. But
Yeah.
you don't want to but there's not one guy that would really say he wants to meet up with Serena Williams in a body one-on-one.
I have a good example then. A girl that I know for a fact guys would love to get to. Ronda Rousey.
I don't want to fight Ronda Rousey either. She's a great example.
Gorgeous. She could take me out if she wanted to fight. Fuck.
Great. That is great.
Ronda Rousey will let you definitely put some pieces of it.
And guess what? Edgar will look at her and be afraid to punch back, and then let her kiss her.
Okay, and you know what? Ronda Rousey is the perfect example of a character that Kojima, since he went and got talented actors like Kiefer Sutherland to do vocal voice, he could have went and got her.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Why? I love that mother is white.
True.
She don't like speaking of that. From what?
No, Ronda, she's quiet, but she's like,
Yeah.
she will put you in your
She was in a movie.
But she was in Red Ones, and she was in Furious.
Spencer. Oh, that's what.
Right.
Yeah, that one.
Right, but there are, you're right. In the point, like guys, we're not looking for women to be just over sexualized. There are women who look at it like, okay, she's hot, but we care more about the substance of what she's about. And I think a lot of times in gaming, we kind of, even with Kojima and with some of these creators, they undervalue what they can achieve as creators and the impression that they can make on society as a result of the fact that they are creators. There isn't this, to me, there isn't this rule book about creating a game. If you said tomorrow morning, you know what, I think it's about time to have a superhero that's a transgender. Granted, it might be super extreme, it might be kind of playing to the mass media talk and conversation, but as a creator, but as a creator, there isn't stopping you, right? What's really stopping you from saying this can be a character with merit? That's my whole like. It would. It actually would. It would. It really would.
Jessica, you know
But
what I
if you
mean?
made a character with substance, that's your whole.
Nah, so
Jessica, what do you?
I'm sorry, because it's like the sound is really getting messed up. But what were you trying to say? Like, what's stopping creators from bringing like diversity? You mean like transgender or something like that into games? Is that what you're asking?
The point of I'm asking like, what is stopping creators from being diverse? Whether it be for transgender, whether it be for color, whether
It's
it be
marketing.
Yep, he said it. Money. Let me tell you a story. Let me give you an example. You see, again, Last of Us. I know I keep talking about it like crazy, but Last of Us, actually, the main character, the little girl, Ellie, I think it was, like the people that funded the game, like the people that were actually paying for the production, the development of it, didn't want Ellie on the front cover. And Naughty Dog had to fight for Ellie to even be on the front cover. So that wasn't going to happen if it was according to the people that were funding the development, really. If it wasn't for Naughty Dog fighting for it and saying, forget that, we're not even letting the cover out. If Ellie's not on it or if she's not in front, then Ellie wouldn't have been there. And it's just trying to reach that target market. You know what I mean? Trying to reach that target audience, I mean, that they think it is.
She's on the cover now. And yeah, that's true. They really fought for Ellie to be on the front cover. And
Yeah.
Even outside of Ellie, Last of Us had Tess and Marlene, who were two of the coolest female characters in the game.
But a lot of times that's based on marketing focus testing. That's so isolated that, to be quite honest with you, the audience that's playing video games, the audience that's absorbing content, they're moving a lot faster than any company, than any corporation can even imagine right now. Like, no one's confined to conform to this idea of what mass consumption is about. So if you're a smart creator and you're talking to where the is, that's where you're making money. That's what
Right.
Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but you gotta understand these games take sometimes years to develop, and it's gonna take years for them to catch up. I mean, it's only been recently that they're starting to catch up.
That's an absolutely fair point. It's like if you start on something now that's popular, who's to say it's going to be the same way when it comes out? I get it.
Right.
That's true.
Because I don't know if you watch E3, but there's like 2 new games that are coming out, one for Xbox One and one for PS3, and they both have male leads that are not sexualized. And one for the Xbox One is Recore. Like, if you've heard of that, it's just like a girl with like a robotic kind of dog where you just like change, and she's not sexualized at all. And then the other one is that, I forgot, Horizon on PS4. Like on E3, she was not sexualized at all. Yes, and everybody's so hyped. And you gotta understand that, like, you know, it was just a few years ago that they found out like most gamers or most mobile gamers, like 60% of them or 50% of them were women. So, you know, it takes 3 to 4 years just to make those kinds of games to even hit that market. So I do think we're kind of changing towards it. But again, like, games take a long time. By the time they were making, you know, the Metal Gear that's coming out right now, that was like, who knows how many years ago, you know what I mean? Like, they have different information, and I think it's catching up, but it's just taking time because of how, you know, big budget games are becoming and how long the development is taking. So I think they're coming through, you know, you just got to give them a chance. And luckily there's like indie games, and indie games are helping bring different kinds of characters out there and competing with big budget companies and big budget games. So that's, I feel like, is also helping. So I think they're catching up. It's just like film and like government, it just takes a very long time for them to catch up.
We got something good in the comments.
Jose brings up the thing about Bayonetta. And they're exactly
Bayonetta.
of course, Jose, which is in the chat. Jose, follow me for.
Hey, Jose. I want to talk about Bayonetta too, because Bayonetta is probably the worst home release.
Like, so
I can't even.
Bayonetta.
Jesus Christ.
Bayonetta is probably the greatest example of being in control of your sexuality.
What?
Putting it
Okay,
Yes, I agree with that. I agree with what David said.
Okay, first of all, let's talk about Bayonetta. Bayonetta is made by Platinum Games. It was the first game was published by Sega on multiple platforms like the Xbox 360, PS3, I believe, also. Bayonetta was on PS3.
Unfortunately.
Oh, no. Okay.
We had.
You could not, in terms of aesthetic, literally, seriously, Bayonetta's entire art design is dicks, balls, ass, hair.
what?
If I'm lying, I'm flying. If I'm lying, I have rockets on my feet.
Why can't I connect?
Is that targeted at girls, Jessica? Or is that your
No.
No.
Bayonetta was actually designed by a female, and it was designed by somebody in the fashion industry. The concept art of
Yeah, I remember. I posted it about the fashion industry connection with Bayonetta. I remember that.
Wait,
And this is a female.
PS3?
Yeah, this game was PS3.
So even looking at the guys, you can see that they were very clearly designed with like a fashion point.
Right.
Very fashion style. Like
Right.
Bayonetta was meant to be as stylish as possible.
Right.
She was meant to be like
This is the main character.
this is the main character. This is the main character, Bayonetta.
Right.
So she was designed, she was designed to be extremely sexualized, but to a parody point. If you look at her, I remember one of the earliest discussions about Bayonetta was actually about how ugly she was. And the reason was because she had extremely long legs, extremely small, flat. She wasn't very busty.
Right.
She had like normal size breasts, and she had glasses, which was like very uncommon for a sexy woman.
Right.
So she was heavily designed sexy, yes, and she was very sexualized, yes, but she was sexualized from a female and fashion standpoint.
Right.
See what the fashion industry can, and they have their own sets of problems.
Right.
You know, Bayonetta is ridiculously skinny.
Right.
She's skinny. Problem in the fashion industry, but unlike how a male views it, like you can look at it, and then you can look at.
Well, and Bayonetta from a gameplay standpoint, the depth in terms of strategy and strategic gameplay, fantastic game. But let me tell you why I literally stopped playing the game. Let me tell you, I stopped playing the game. I got to maybe a board and a half to the end of the game, and it hit me. I'm like, yo, I'm done looking at baby heads on penises. I'm done. So I let the controller go. It was nothing but testicles, baby heads on penises, looked like semen. It was reverse. online.
Oh, I have so much to say about this.
It was so unconsciously beating me up with it and over the head. It was the angels.
You just mad you got beat by testicles, man.
There's faces that were in the missiles. They look like little penises that would pop out at you.
So you remember?
Do you remember Seaman?
You want to
The
know
game Seaman from City Pass when it was a baby with a big head and it had like a tail to it. There was Seaman for real.
But you want to know the whole thing about all the angel designs, especially the more sexually overt ones? They're very accurately representative of angels from the Christian Bible.
That's horrible.
It's Christianity, man.
But even then, that's an interpretation. That's an interpretation. But I'm not gonna.
It's a very close one.
It's a bad one.
So this is a close one.
It's a.
These are ancient remedies, you know, they had a very
It's so live. This game's so live.
I think did not hold it.
It is so live.
I mean,
But it's a cult classic. Like it's literally a cult classic.
it is.
I don't know. Like, what's with this like thing that, like, you know, like I just feel like it's a stereotype to kind of make like girls sexy, right, and then make them weak. The thing I love about Bayonetta is that you could be fucking sexy and a badass at the same time. And you also got to think about it. Like in other cultures, they don't take sex as seriously as Americans do. Americans have this kind of like, oh, sex, like don't talk about it. You know what I mean, kind of thing. But like in Europe, they freaking talk about it like it's nothing, like freaking lunch. You know what I mean? Like it could also be a cultural thing. Maybe they just don't take it as serious as we kind of take it. You know, like we take it as a private kind of intimate kind of thing. But people sometimes talk about it. You know, foreigners and stuff just talk about it like whatever. But again, like I think Bayonetta is more about like a girl can be sexy and she could be badass at the same time. Like, why does she have to be conservative to be badass? You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, and I understand, like, it's just bad that they're overgeneralizing girls as always wearing shorts and like tank tops and stuff. But it is also possible to be freaking hot as hell and be a badass. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be ugly to be super powerful. And I think that's why I love Bayonetta, that she just has this confidence, and it's not about like bringing women down because she's fighting through everything. She's the one that's getting shit done. You know what I mean? She's not asking for help. She's doing it herself. And that's the best part. Like, you know, that's my point. That's it.
The gameplay is fantastic. There isn't a.
It is. It's great.
Story to the game.
The whole story is that she's literally the savior of the world. Like without her, I mean, shit just goes down. Like she literally is the most powerful character in the universe at the end of the day at the moment.
Right.
And at the beginning of Bayonetta 2, she's godly status. And the ending fights of both Bayonetta games are fighting gods.
Right. So are we saying that God runs around with ass titties?
So wait, there was actually a really interesting thing about Bayonetta that somebody really went deep into. I don't want to talk about it because I feel like I'm going to mess it up because this person did a great job.
So maybe we could find.
Bayonetta was a subversion, or I'm not probably using the wrong word, but what it was that, you know, the final boss of both games is God, both different types of God, both from Christianity.
Subversive in that.
The whole thing was that there's a lot of Christian undertones about sexualization, about like how they try to repress sexuality, like what Jessica was saying. You know, it's like, oh my God, sex, we can't talk about it.
Right.
Bayonetta is the emphasis of that. She flaunts her sexuality. She shows herself off.
Right.
She gets naked.
Right.
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 But at the same time, she's fighting angels and she's fighting the whole idea of this organized religion.
Right.
So she's the devil.
Well, no, she's
She's not the devil.
She's a female version of what Spawn was.
She's not the devil because the
Paul
angels.
is the devil.
No, Spawn was basically a creation of the devil fighting both angels and devils. And
No, he turned on the devil, but he was the devil.
And she's not the devil
the
because
more
the
angels
angels.
is power that was.
Yeah.
The spawn is the spawn of Satan.
Right.
The
No, she's
original.
not that. She's not that. She's actually an abomination. You know, she's the daughter of Lumen Sage and an Umbra Witch. And what it was that there's also a lot of play on things. You
Right.
notice with Bayonetta, she's always associated with the moon.
Right.
And in ancient Christianity,
Right.
females were associated with the moon, males were associated with the sun.
Right.
And she's the daughter of both.
Right.
The thing was that she serves as a way to oppose just like the thought of thoughtless organized religion and everything. She serves to tear down those walls and everything.
Right.
And the angels in the game aren't even fair. They play very unfairly. They
Right.
cheat, they lie, they manipulate,
Right.
they control humanity,
Right.
they abuse humanity, and then one thing is that as you're fighting angels, and this is something that the game never tells you, as you're fighting them, their glorious white armor comes off, and you see the hideous monsters inside,
Right.
which are grotesque and ugly and disgusting. You're
Right.
just like, these things don't look that much different from demons.
Right. So what are they trying to say? There are no angels. They're all demons.
No. They're angels. They're
It's
angels.
good and
Because,
bad.
but it's
Right.
it's just the classic histories written by the victors. Angels are good because they won. You know, and the good Christianity is right because it won.
See, we can go real deep with this because
At the end of the day, man,
Dylan said something. Dylan said something that I really attune to, which is that there's good and bad things, and there's bad things and good things. There's the yin and yang effect. If you look at the
There's good,
symbol,
bad, and bad and good.
yeah, if you look at the symbol yin and yang,
Bad things is like,
right? If you look at the symbol yin and yang, that's what yin and yang is. Yin and yang means that they're both similar, right? But what you're also talking about when you talk about religion and you're talking about that particular character, right? There is representation of that in the world. There's a place, and I don't know exactly where it is, but it's in India, somewhere in the Himalayas or something like that. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But there is this idea that man and woman come together to create the third. The idea of the Trinity. The third, the one piece that links everything together. Bayonetta is another representation of that. They call it the face of God. The face of God being the child, right? Because it brings these two disparaging, separate entities together. You know what I
you
mean?
play Bayonetta too.
No, I haven't. played Bayonetta. Right. So I get that.
We're on the nose.
You said it was a good question.
We're on the nose.
What's a good question? Did you say there was a good question?
Oh yeah, Jose, actually says about things like what is the difference from that?
Dating sim? Yeah, the virtual reality business.
That's not the virtual reality.
Well, dating Sims will teach you how to be a fucking Mac. All right? Because you have to actually go through the process of kicking it with a girl. I'll bite you.
They have that as games?
Dude,
Yeah.
there was one game I played years ago. I had to be like 21, right? It was a dating sim game, right? I could not date the girl unless I called her 3 or 4 times and developed a relationship on the phone with her.
Sales and TV.
You know what? This was a dating sim that me and Jessica were talking about.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What?
Yeah,
Horizon?
No.
I love Horizon. Oh.
You know which one I'm talking about? If you really, I'm trying to remember the name. What do you call it?
Fun. Horizon.
Oh, I'm gonna.
Recore? Which one is it?
67.
I'm gonna find it.
No,
Just keep going.
well, I've had this thing for a little while, but I have a few female characters that are strong. We're gonna take away the good and bad, like label.
Okay.
Don't look at them as evil or good.
Okay.
Just look at the character.
Okay.
Mirror's Edge. Not that sexualized. Good female character,
True.
badass throughout the entire movie.
True.
Far Cry 3, lost his sister.
Oh shit.
She's naked throughout the whole, no bullshit. She walks around naked the whole time. Tatted, sexy, queen of women. This entire nation of people that are following her and fighting against the pirates. Badass. Huh? Far Cry 3. That was anyway. Far Cry 4. There are 2 female. There's a bunch of female. Okay. Right. There's 2 names that I like a lot. There's Yuma, which is Hagen's like assistant.
Right.
And she's badass,
Right.
but she's not sexualized.
Right.
And I noticed that. I was like, in the last movie, the badass female who walked around naked the whole time. What happened? There's a scene where you're in jail and Yuma comes in to interrogate you, and she walks in wearing nothing but her army coat, and she's butt ass naked.
Jesus.
And I'm like,
You smash?
all right. I guess. No, because like they drug you, so you wake up and she's there naked. So I think she smashed you. You know what I'm saying? I think she came in. I think she came in and took advantage of you. So there's that.
Well, let's talk about the idea of exploitation in gaming of female characters. And
Look at us.
if there's value beyond that and how it really connects to the mainstream of society at the same time. And it's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to tackle.
We rarely talk about male sexuality.
Oh, they sexualize males very well in Far Cry 3 as well. Because Buck is a homosexual male that walks around in booty shorts.
His name is Buck.
His shirt open.
Oh, yes. I'm just
He
saying.
like, talks to you like throughout the entire thing. He's like, "Got time for another mystery lesson?" And it's just like,
What's the sound way? He was like mad. He was a
There's a few
I didn't.
there's a few parts where he's flamboyant, like the way he talks and stuff like
I never got that. I got the serious
that. And then, right
Yo,
before
I'm gonna go so Jose could come in.
they show a flashback. You're in a club with your friend, and the guy that he rapes is like tough, fights everybody.
He raped the guy?
He raped a guy.
He raised the guy.
Gaming has gone to places that most people just gloss over the top of it all.
That's
And you know, it's good and bad.
what the most sexualized video?
Hey Jose, what's up?
What's up, guys?
We created sexual characters. I'm talking about like an original character.
Okay, an original.
I feel like it's one of three. It's either Mario, Dante from Devil May Cry, or Leon from Resident Evil.
It's gotta be.
Okay, wait.
And I mean sexualized in like how they are as a character.
Wait, first character?
Mario.
Okay, but
Mario from like Mario.
see, maybe you gotta get into this. Like,
Well, I don't know. Like, remember last one? No, from what side? Looking great. Yeah. Okay, that was like magazine. Yeah.
oh,
You good?
Not as track. Well, the way he is, he's not.
The way he was used before, yeah.
He's track. Oh, that's good.
You already clapped.
Yeah, yo. Something that goes with it.
And Jose, Jose.
No, Chris Redfield.
What happened?
I said Leon. Anybody from Resident Evil
Chris
is not your
Redfield
girl.
is way more sexualized. In fact, Chris Redfield is an interesting aspect because Chris, he was originally designed to be sexualized for females. It turns out that females didn't like Chris. So they changed him. They decided to make Chris a lot more enticing. So Chris is the guy. And Chris was a guy who was originally designed to be, appealing to females. And that's why Resident Evil really got big because of their characters. You had Jill Valentine, Jill appealed to the males, and Chris was supposed to appeal to females. As the game evolved, though, we found out that Chris did not appeal to females as much as it did to gamers. So they decided to go full force with that.
That's we should do that instead.
I don't think
And
it's
sexualized.
I think that we got this.
we'll definitely we'll follow up on an article about the statistics. We'll figure out a way to find it. If anybody out there in the audience can help us, we'd love their help. Head over to the
And of course,
reach out to us.
very first March.
We can also reach out.
If you played Resident Evil 6, that whole game was
No, just start there.
on like all of Resident Evil 6 was like super homoerotic.
Right. And you
It
can
was like
and you can also follow at Mass Ideation on Twitter.com and Saxon.
El Sergio.
El Sergio
217. Put it in the comments. Instagram.
Awesome.
Follow. I follow back. I want pictures and all that.
So if you haven't, if you just joined the conversation and you're trying to figure out who we are, we're just gonna segue and introduce you in. This is the Gamer Lifestyle Show on Blab for the Kingslayer.com. We're dedicated to that. So the idea of our content is to talk about gaming and intersection with life and how we all live as gamers.
I'm pretty surprised nobody wants to know. I don't know why. This is my ultimate Mario sexualized brain. Right.
Okay,
Parties
let's
and all that. First off, as racist as it sounds, he's young. Let's be honest.
Italian stallion.
He just had Italian stallion, porno mustache and all that. Running around, seeing princesses and shit with his brother. He's got a wing tattoo. What I'm trying to say is, Mario, he's breaking necks, action checks. He's doing what he has to do. And he has a wingman.
Is he really though?
Yes, he
He
is.
is so
I'm gonna pussy look. Is he pussy whipped or is he a man? Or is he an actual man? Is he like, you know what, this is my woman, I'm going to be there for her, even though her dumbass is doing the same shit every like few years.
When you literally pause the entire galaxy to look at a girl who honestly probably isn't even working. I'm sorry, you are pussy with.
Is another girl married?
There's like 1,000.
There's a few girls in America.
1,000. Luigi is probably.
I got a better question.
Rosalina Henry.
Is Princess Peach cheating?
With Bowser? That's what it is.
That's the question is, has Mario
Oh my god. Is there a rating? Is there a rating on this? Because there's a video of Mario finally realizing that, you know what, this bitch is probably doing this on purpose. And he's like, you know what? Fuck with this. We're gonna go home and you can suck my balls for saving me. No, shit. If there's no rating, look at the video.
So he basically
He walks in, Bowser's like, I'm about to. He's like, nah, fuck you, sit down.
Oh,
You
yeah.
come here. I'm sick of your shit. I'm sick of you always getting kidnapped by this bum ass nigga right here. And if you don't fucking come home and suck my balls, I'm not saving you ever again. He's just like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And he's like, nope.
So at what point did the R. Kelly big song?
Some bullshit.
Okay, look, I know we totally deep what we're talking about. We had the hero thing, we were trying to fix this shit.
We were trying to be moral, but we got kind of raunchy.
And we got kind of raunchy. But again, in the context of what we were talking about, all of this kind of plays a role. And the reason why it all plays a role, and the reason why is because these images and these games and what we play and the characters that we associate with, it's part of the lexicon of what we've been seeing for the last 20 couple years, right? Okay, so I guess the next question and probably the last question is, where do we go? What do you think? What do you think is the next place that sexuality and gaming and society and that intersection? Where do we go? Where do we go? Especially in the context of what's going on in society outside of what we, you know, Caitlyn Jenner, transgender, the conversation around, you know, even the president, even the president. I mean, you know, I don't want to go that far, but you have two substantial women who are in the president race, and they may have a possibility of winning. So think about gaming in that context. What is the relationship going to be?
Well, what's going to happen is that they're going to start pandering to other communities. You see Capcom, they're pandering heavily towards the gay community. Naughty Dog is skewing more towards the lesbian community. BioWare is doing both in a very efficient way. Eventually, that's just going to turn out to transgender, minority, pandering is everything. That is exaggerated, but they're always going to get quiet.
Right.
But eventually, those quiets are going to be the Chris's or whatever, gender. Or stuff like that.
Okay.
In Mass Effect, I think the entire series.
Yeah. You gotta be very careful. Mass Effect is
In Mass Effect, this series ended in 04, shit. You can decide to have sex with guys or girls.
Right.
Now, I feel like that character ability, the asexual, like, sexual preference, just being able to have sex or talk to or be relationshiply and emotionally involved with whoever you want. I feel like that's the next thing. Like, making characters asexual. You can make a character whoever the fuck you want. You can make it do whatever you want. You can make them like and want to have sex and be emotional with whoever they pick.
So the idea of sexuality.
Another question.
Okay, so we have
We
a
go
question.
hand by hand.
And that's for the Bronx beer halls. The people to the Bronx beer hall go drink beer there.
You go-
Have to focus on that.
I agree. The sexualization here, you're dick.
Yeah, but I think you don't actually sexualize it.
Don't.
I mean,
I think it doesn't help.
like what you said, Resident Evil is all about expanding on the sex without actually.
Bronx beer hall.
It's not like they're
Especially on the
masculine men bralette walking around naked. It's just like a dude getting shit done.
Like,
And you look at him and his face is just like,
not even, because they sexualize him in different ways. Like, you got Leon coming out of the water and his skin is full of oil, and you're just like, why are you you know, and then he's got always this pretty hair, he strips it.
And he's always like on. They never have to do anything. They always just look perfect
Yeah,
and ready.
and like he has a very pretty voice, you know, he has a super pretty voice.
Yeah, yo, that's the future. Asexual characters.
That's all I mean.
No, but like I mean like every character. You go to play your favorite game ever, and it's just like, oh Mario, go save Apple. It's a dude.
You choose.
It's a dude.
Choose your
Birthday pizza, Apple. Pick one.
In Spelunky, you get to choose who you save. You can save the animal distress, it can be a guy, and you can have a relationship with him, or it can be a dog.
Wait, why is it gonna be asexual characters?
Bestiality. That might get a picture too. There's fuck animals in video games.
Where has this gone? On that note.
There you go. You need to end this. 'Cause-
On that note.
all right. Well. Okay. So.
I think
So where do we go? You've been like the cameraman. You've been the guy like really giving the audience a viewpoint of everybody. What do you think? We haven't heard from you at all.
me as the probably least gamer here, no problem, me. I'm just interested in how much gaming has changed since I was paying attention maybe 20 years ago, and now how we have to think about creating games for audiences that exist.
Mm-hmm.
And things like this will help us to figure that out and make cool games.
All right. So I guess the next time we didn't even talk about how technology plays a role in all this. When you've got things like virtual reality, you've got augmented reality with the HoloLens and the Oculus Rift and PlayStation VR, you know, Apple TV, yada yada yada. Okay. So in conclusion, for our first ever our first ever collab, thank you guys for watching. Thank all of our friends who tuned in to support us. We thank you guys for the questions. We know it was a little bit long in the teeth. Please tell us how we did and what we didn't do well.
Let us know what
How
you
we can
hear.
improve. Right, exactly. How we could improve on our Twitter. I believe that is M Sanchez info at Twitter at M Sanchez info. At Mass Ideation, at the King Center.
Instagram and Twitter.
Instagram and Twitter. Just let us know how we did. Let us know if we should even continue this series. We're gonna do it anyway. So thank you guys.
Oh, and be ready for events.
Right.
And also, there were a few questions in the comments that we were not able to answer. A lot of times, we weren't even looking at the comments as much as we now were kind of seeing that. So we're going to definitely pay more attention to that in the future. So I apologize if any answers have not.
And also contextually, we're gonna have a lot more focused themes. Sergio didn't even get to talk about development from the gaming side.
We got games coming, so
We have games coming. We have a lot of content coming for you guys, a lot. So please tune in and we thank you.
Stay gaming.
Peace.
PCOs.
No, wait, you gotta say it. So,